stood in the center of the council chamber and felt the weight of 47 alien species staring at him. The chamber was huge, built like an ancient arena, with seats rising in circles around him. Each seat held a representative from a different world. Some looked like insects, others looked like floating crystals. Some had too many eyes and others had none at all. He was the only human in the room. "Ambassador," the council speaker said. The speaker was a tall creature with blue skin and 4 arms. "We have reached our decision." His heart sank. He had seen this coming for months, but he had hoped he was wrong. Behind him, on the viewing screen, Captain watched from her ship. She commanded the human diplomatic fleet. Her face was calm, but could see the worry in her eyes. "The Galactic Council has voted," the speaker continued. "Humanity is hereby expelled from civilized space." The words echoed through the chamber, felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. Around the room, alien representatives made sounds of approval. Some clicked their mandibles. Others flashed lights of satisfaction. "You cannot do this," said, keeping his voice steady. "We have been loyal members of this council for 30 years. We have followed every law. We have paid every tribute." "You have also started 12 conflicts," a reptilian delegate hissed. "You are aggressive, violent. Your species cannot control its nature." "Those were not conflicts we started," argued. "We defended ourselves. We protected trade routes from pirates. We—" "Enough," the speaker interrupted. "The vote was unanimous. Humanity is too dangerous. Your very evolution is based on warfare and conquest. You carry violence in your genes." Looked around the chamber. He searched for one friendly face, one species that would speak up for humanity. He found none. Even the species that humans had helped in the past remained silent. "We have brought innovation to this council," said. "Our engineers maintain half the stations in council space. Our doctors have cured 3 major plagues. Our peacekeepers patrol the borders. What will you do without us?" "We will do better," the speaker said coldly. "We will have peace, true peace, without your kind to start wars and spread chaos." A small alien with 6 legs spoke up. "Humans are warmongers. They solve every problem with violence. They even fight among themselves. How can we trust such creatures?" "Every species here has fought wars," said, his voice rising. "The Dominate conquered 16 worlds. The Collective enslaved their own people for 300 years. But you judge us. We have been nothing but cooperative." "That is exactly the problem," another delegate said. "You cooperate too well, you unite too quickly, you breed too fast. In 100 years you will outnumber us all. In 200 you will dominate the galaxy." So that was it realized. They were not afraid of human violence. They were afraid of human success. "You have 10 standard cycles to evacuate all human colonies within council territory," the speaker announced. "All trade agreements are void. All technology licenses are revoked. All star charts beyond your current holdings are classified. You will take your people and leave civilized space." "Where are we supposed to go?" demanded. "Beyond the outer rim," the speaker said. "There is space there, empty space, dark space. You will find your way or you will not. That is no longer our concern." The outer rim was a region of space that no one explored. The star charts showed nothing there but dead systems and radiation clouds. It was exile to nowhere. "This is murder," said quietly. "You are sending us to die." "We are sending you away," the speaker corrected. "What happens after that is your own responsibility. Perhaps in isolation your species will learn peace. Perhaps not. Either way, you will no longer be our problem." The speaker gestured with one of its 4 arms. Guards appeared at the chamber doors. They were armed and armored. "You have 1 hour to leave this station," the speaker said. "After that, your diplomatic immunity expires. Goodbye, Ambassador. I hope, for your sake, that we never meet again." Stood there for a long moment. He wanted to shout. He wanted to argue. He wanted to make them see reason. But he could see it in their eyes, all 47 species. They had made up their minds. They wanted humans gone, and nothing he said would change that. He turned and walked toward the exit. The guards did not stop him, but they watched him closely. Every alien in the chamber watched him. He could feel their stares like daggers in his back. When he reached his ship, was waiting for him in the docking bay. She was a tall woman with short black hair and eyes that had seen too much combat. She had served in the border patrol before becoming a diplomat. "They voted us out," said. "It was not a question." "I heard," replied. "I've already sent the order to all human colonies. We have 10 cycles to evacuate." "That's not enough time," said. "We have 200 colonies in council space, millions of people. We cannot move everyone in 10 cycles." "We'll have to try," said. "Is coordinating the evacuation from Earth. He's using every ship we have." Was their military strategist. He had warned them this day would come. He had told them the council feared human success more than they feared human violence, had not believed him. Now he wished he had. "What about the colonies that can't evacuate in time?" asked. His face hardened. "We leave no one behind. If we can't move them all in 10 cycles, we'll keep going until everyone is safe. Council orders be damned." Over the next 10 cycles, human ships moved through council space like a great migration. They packed up homes and factories. They loaded families and belongings. They dismantled the stations they had built and the facilities they had maintained. The council watched but did nothing to help. Some alien species even took advantage of the chaos, buying human property for almost nothing or seizing equipment that humans left behind. On the final day, stood on the bridge of his flagship and watched as the last human colony ship jumped to light speed. They were leaving civilized space, heading into the unknown darkness of the outer rim. "All ships accounted for," reported. "We got everyone out." "What now?" asked. "Now we survive," said. "We find a new home, we build a new life, and we never forget what they did to us." Behind them, council space grew smaller in the. Ahead of them was nothing but darkness and stars that no one had explored. The human fleet jumped to light speed, one ship after another, until they all disappeared into the void. In the council chamber, the aliens celebrated. They drank and made speeches about the new age of peace. They congratulated themselves for removing the dangerous humans. "Finally," the speaker said, raising a glass, "the warmongers are gone. Now the galaxy can know true peace." The other delegates cheered. None of them noticed the small warning signals that were already starting to appear on their security monitors. None of them realized what they had just done. They had cast humanity out, and one day they would face the consequences. 50 years had passed since the humans left, and was having the worst day of his business life. He sat in his small office on Trade Station Gamma 9 and stared at the numbers on his screen. They were all red. His shipping company was losing money, and he could not figure out how to stop it. "Pirates hit another convoy," his assistant said, bringing him more bad news. "That's the 5th one this month." Rubbed his eyes. He was a species known for their business sense. His people were natural traders, but even the best business sense could not overcome the chaos that now filled the galaxy. "How much did we lose?" he asked. 3 cargo ships, 20 crew members, and a full load of medical supplies heading to the colony. "Felt sick, 20 crew members, good people with families, all gone because pirates had attacked their convoy." "What about the security escort?" he asked. "They ran away," his assistant said bitterly. "The council peacekeepers said the pirates were too well armed. They said it was not worth the risk." Wanted to scream. 50 years ago there were no pirates in this sector. 50 years ago, human patrol ships kept the trade routes safe. Humans did not run away from fights. They ran toward them. But the humans were gone now, exiled to the darkness beyond the outer rim, and the galaxy was paying the price. Across the galaxy, in the Council Intelligence Center, officer was discovering the same truth. She sat in her office surrounded by screens showing data from every corner of Council space. The data was not good. Was a crystalline, a species that processed information faster than most. She could see patterns that others missed, and the pattern she saw now terrified her. Crime was up 40% across all Council territories. Pirate attacks had increased every year since the humans left. Trade routes that were once safe now required heavy protection, but the Council did not have enough ships to protect them all. The peacekeeping force was a joke. It was made up of species that joined the Council for protection, not to provide it. Most of them had never fought a real battle. When pirates attacked, they retreated. When smugglers operated, they looked the other way. But crime was Not's biggest worry. She pulled up another set of data on her screen and felt her crystal structure dim with concern. The plague was spreading. It had started in a small colony on the outer edge of Council space, a disease that attacked the nervous system. It killed slowly and painfully. In 3 months, it had spread to 12 different star systems. Hundreds of thousands were dead. Millions were infected. The Council medical teams were working on a cure, but they were making no progress. The disease was too complex, too adaptive. It changed faster than they could study it. Pulled up an old file, a file from 50 years ago. In it, she found a report from a human doctor named. He had been working on a cure for a similar disease. His research was incomplete when the humans were exiled. The Council had seized his laboratory and all his work. But no one had continued his research. No one understood it well enough. Human medical science was different from alien medicine, more aggressive, more experimental, more effective. Now that research was gone, doctor was gone, all the humans were gone, and the plague was killing thousands every day. Filed a report to the Council, recommending they try to contact the humans. Maybe or his colleagues were still alive. Maybe they could help. The Council rejected her recommendation. We do not negotiate with exiles, they said. Meanwhile, on the borders of Council space, something even worse was happening. Station Commander saw them first on his long-range sensors. Ships, thousands of them, moving in formation through deep space, coming from a region that was supposed to be empty. What are those? His second officer asked. I don't know, said. Run identification protocols. The computer scanned the ships. The results came back, unknown, no match in the database. Felt a chill run through his body. He was a veteran of the Border Patrol. He had served for 30 years. He knew every type of ship in Council space. These were not Council ships. Try hailing them, he ordered. His communication officer sent a standard greeting in 12 different languages. There was no response. The ships kept coming. As they got closer, could see their design. They were organic, not built but grown, like giant insects made of metal and chitin. Get me the Council Defense Fleet, said, now. But the defense fleet was 6 hours away. The strange ships would reach his station in 2 hours. Ordered evacuation. His station had 5,000 people on it, civilians mostly, traders and families. He got 3,000 of them onto transport ships before the attack came. The strange ships did not negotiate. They did not communicate. They simply attacked. Their weapons were like nothing had ever seen. Bioenergy blasts that melted through shields like paper. Boarding pods that attached to the station hull and burned through. When the pods opened, creatures poured out. They looked like insects. 6 legs, sharp claws, and mandibles that could bite through metal. They killed everyone they found. They did not take prisoners. They did not ask for surrender. Died defending the evacuation corridor. His last message to the Council was simple. They're called the Swarm, and they're coming for you. The Council Defense Fleet arrived 6 hours later. They found nothing but wreckage. The station was destroyed. The Swarm ships were gone. 5,000 people were dead or missing. It was the first attack, but it would not be the last. Back on the council compiled all the information. The plague, the pirates, the failing infrastructure, the swarm. She created a comprehensive report and presented it to the council leadership. "We are facing multiple crises," she told them, "and we are not prepared for any of them." "We will manage," the council speaker said. It was a different speaker than 50 years ago, but the attitude was the same. "We always manage." "We managed before because the humans helped us," said carefully. "They patrolled our borders, they maintained our systems, they researched solutions to our problems. Without them we have peace," the speaker interrupted. "Yes, we have some difficulties, but they are temporary. We will adapt. We will find solutions." "What if we can't?" asked. The speaker's face hardened. "Are you suggesting we bring the humans back, after we exiled them for good reason?" "I am suggesting we at least try to contact them," said. "Find out if they survived. See if they will help us." The council debated for 3 weeks. Finally, they agreed. They would send a small scout mission beyond the outer rim. They would try to find the humans. If the humans still existed, they would ask for help. Volunteered to lead the mission. She took 3 ships and a crew of 30. They jumped beyond the outer rim into the dark space where the humans had been exiled. They found abandoned stations, empty colonies, ships drifting in space with no power. Everywhere they looked, they found signs of human presence, but no humans. "They must have died out here," one of her crew members said. "The outer rim is too harsh. No resources, no habitable worlds. They could not have survived." But was not so sure. She remembered reading about humans. They were survivors. They adapted. They overcame. It was one of the reasons the council had feared them. On the 4th week of searching, they found something strange. A probe, small and sophisticated. It was watching them. Tried to communicate with it, but it jumped away before she could establish contact. It moved faster than anything she had ever seen. "Follow it," she ordered. But they could not. The probe's jump technology was too advanced. It disappeared into a region of space that was not on any council map. Sent a message toward where the probe had gone. "We are from the Galactic Council. We are looking for humanity. We need your help. Please respond." She waited. Days passed, then weeks. There was no response. Finally had to accept the truth. Either the humans were dead, or they did not want to be found. She returned to council space with her report. No sign of human civilization, likely extinct. The council accepted her conclusion. They would have to face their problems alone. But kept one piece of information secret. That probe she had found. Its technology was far more advanced than anything the council possessed. If the humans had built it, then they had not just survived. They had thrived. Somewhere out in the darkness, humanity was alive, and they were watching. They just did not want to help anymore. Stood on the bridge of her ship and stared at the message on her screen. It had arrived 3 days ago, and she still could not believe it. "You are looking for us. Come to these coordinates. Come alone." The message was in perfect council standard. The coordinates pointed to a region beyond the outer rim, deeper than her first expedition had gone. The message was signed with a simple identifier: Menu, Admiral, Human Free Fleet. "It could be a trap," her tactical officer said. "By who?" asked. "The humans are supposed to be extinct." "That's what we thought," the officer replied. "Maybe we were wrong." Had convinced the council to fund one more expedition. The swarm attacks were getting worse. They had destroyed 6 more stations and killed tens of thousands. The council defense fleet was losing every battle. The plague had spread to 23 systems. They were desperate. "Set course for those coordinates," ordered, "and go alone as requested. No escort ships." The jump took 3 days. When they arrived, could not believe what she saw. A massive space station hung in orbit around a green and blue planet. But it was not like any station she had seen before. It was huge, easily 10 times the size of the largest council station. Its design was elegant and powerful, with weapon systems visible on every surface. Around the station, ships moved in organized patterns. Hundreds of ships. They were sleek and fast, built with technology that looked decades ahead of anything the Council used. "We're being scanned," her sensor officer reported. "By what?" asked. "Everything. The station, the ships, satellites, defense platforms. I count at least 200 targeting systems locked on us right now." Felt her crystal structure tighten with fear. If these systems fired, her ship would be destroyed in seconds. A communication came through. A human face appeared on her screen. He was a man with short gray hair and hard eyes. He wore a military uniform that looked sharp and professional. "Officer," the man said, "I am Admiral Minu. Welcome to New Terra." Stared at him. This was not the face of someone whose species was barely surviving. This was a leader, a powerful leader. "Admiral," she said carefully, "we were told humanity had gone extinct." "We encouraged that belief," Minu said. "It kept you from bothering us. Now follow my navigation beacon. You are cleared to dock at Station Unity." Ship followed the beacon to a docking port. As they approached, she could see the station's true size. It was a city in space. Through the windows, she could see gardens and buildings. She could see people walking on streets under artificial sky. When she disembarked, she found a human woman waiting for her. She was young, with kind eyes and a scientist's bearing. "I'm Sara," the woman said, "Chief Scientist of the New Earth Collective. Admiral Minu asked me to show you around before your meeting." "New Earth Collective?" asked. "That's what we call ourselves now," Sora explained. "When the Council exiled us, we stopped using the old government names. We built something new." Sora led through the station. What saw shocked her. The station was not just functional. It was beautiful. Humans had built parks and schools. They had restaurants and theaters. Children played in recreational areas while adults worked in modern facilities. How did you build all this?" Sora smiled. "Necessity is the mother of invention. When you cast us into the outer rim, we had to adapt or die, so we adapted." They took a shuttle down to the planet's surface. New Terra was a garden world. Cities spread across the landscape, but they were built in harmony with nature. Forests and rivers flowed between buildings. The air was clean and fresh. "The Council told us there were no habitable worlds beyond the outer rim," said. "There weren't," Sora replied. "We made them habitable, terraforming technology. It took us 20 years to perfect it, but now we can turn almost any world into a home." They visited a research facility, saw scientists working with technology she did not recognize. They were humans, but also aliens, species she had never seen before. "Who are they?" she asked. "Refugees," Sora explained. "Other species the Council cast out, the exiled for genetic engineering, the expelled for religious practices, the removed for demanding equal rights. We found them dying in the dark space beyond the rim. We saved them. Now we work together." Felt shame wash through her. The Council had exiled many species over the centuries. She had never thought about what happened to them. She had assumed they died. They visited a military base next, saw human soldiers training with alien warriors. They moved with precision and skill. Their equipment was advanced, their discipline impressive. "You built an army," observed. "We built a defense force," Sora corrected. "When you live in the dark, you learn that threats are everywhere. We had to be ready." Finally, they went to meet Admiral Minu. His office was in the central command tower of Station Unity. Through his window, could see the entire planet below and the fleet of ships above. "Sit," Minu said. He poured her a drink from a bottle. "It's water from New Terra, clean and pure. Everything we have, we built ourselves." "Sat, Admiral, I must ask, why did you invite me here?" "Because we know why you came," Minu said. The swarm is attacking Council space. Your defenses are failing. You need help." "Yes," admitted. "We are desperate. The swarm is destroying everything. We cannot stop them." Minyu nodded slowly. "I know, we've been watching. We've seen every attack, every failure, every death." "Then you know we need your help," said. "Please, thousands are dying every day." Minyu leaned back in his chair. 50 years ago, we came to the council asking for fairness, for acceptance. You cast us out instead. You called us warmongers and savages. You sent us to die in the dark." "That was wrong," said. "I know it was wrong, but that was 50 years ago, different people, different time." "Was it?" Minyu asked. "Or did the council finally realize they needed the warmongers and savages after all?" Felt her structure dim with shame. He was right. The council had not learned to accept humans. They had just learned they needed them. "So you will not help us," she said quietly. "I did not say that," Minyu replied. He stood and walked to his window. "When we were exiled, we were angry. We wanted revenge. We wanted to watch the council burn for what they did to us." He turned back to face her. "But then we met the other refugees, species that the council had also abandoned. We saw their pain, their struggle, and we realized something important." "What?" asked. "That we could be better than you," Minyu said. "We could build something better, not based on fear and exclusion, but on cooperation and merit. We could prove that being cast out was the best thing that ever happened to us." He walked back to his desk. "So no, officer, we will not help the council." Felt hope die in her chest. She had failed. The council was doomed. "However," Minyu continued, "we will help the people, the innocent civilians, the species who had no say in our exile. They don't deserve to die for the council's mistakes." Looked up. "You will fight the swarm." "We will fight," Minyu confirmed. "But not as your subjects, not as your servants. We will fight as an independent force, the Frontier Coalition. And when this is over, the council will have a choice to make." "What choice?" asked. Minyu smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Join us or stand aside, because the old order is over. Something new is coming, and whether the council likes it or not, humans will be part of it." He pressed a button on his desk. "Now, let me show you what we've built for this war." The wall behind him became a screen. It showed ships, massive warships larger than anything the council possessed, carriers full of fighters, cruisers armed with weapons did not recognize, battle stations with enough firepower to destroy small moons. "This is the human-free fleet," Minyu said. 2,000 warships, 50,000 fighters, 300 capital ships. We built them all in secret over the last 30 years. "Why?" whispered. "Why build such a force if you wanted peace?" "Because we learned our lesson," Minyu said. "Peace is not the absence of war. Peace is having the strength to defend what you love. The council taught us that. They taught us that when you're weak, you get cast out. When you're strong, you get respect." He turned off the screen. "Go back to your council. Tell them the humans are coming. Tell them we will fight the swarm. And tell them that after we win, things are going to change." Returned to her ship in a daze. As she prepared to jump back to council space, she looked out at New Terra one last time. It was beautiful and powerful and impossible. Humanity had not just survived exile. They had thrived. They had built an empire in the darkness. And now they were coming home. Sat in the pilot's seat of her fighter and listened to the debate raging in the council chambers. The audio was being broadcast across the entire Frontier Coalition. Everyone wanted to hear what humanity would decide. She was young, only 25 years old. She had never seen council space. She was born on New Terra 5 years after the exile. Her parents had died during the first hard years, when humanity was still struggling to survive in the Outer Rim. Now the council wanted their help, the same council that had killed her parents by exiling them. "Why should we help them?" a voice came through the speaker. It was an older man, one of the original exiles. He was an admiral now, decorated and respected. They sent us to die. They wanted us gone. Let them face the consequences. Agreed with him. Why should humans risk their lives for people who hated them? Because it is the right thing to do, another voice answered. It was younger, a diplomat. The civilians of the council did not vote to exile us. Their governments did. Should we let billions of innocent people die for the sins of their leaders? Yes, someone else said. That is exactly what they deserve. They cast us out. Now they can face the swarm alone. The debate went on for hours, stopped listening and ran through her pre-flight checks. Her fighter was a Falcon-class interceptor, fast and deadly. She had been flying since she was 18. She was good at it. What do you think? Her wingman asked over the private channel. His name was, they had trained together for 3 years. I think they deserve to burn, said honestly. But I also think we are better than them. That is what Admiral Minu always says. We are better because we do not abandon people to die. Even people who abandoned us, asked. Especially them, replied, because then we prove we are not like them. The debate finally ended. A vote was called. Every human settlement got to vote. Every colony, every station, every ship, democracy in action. Cast her vote, yes, help them. When the results came in, the vote was close. 54% voted to help. 46% voted to let the council face the swarm alone. Admiral Minu appeared on every screen across the Frontier Coalition. He looked tired but determined. We have voted, he said. We will help the council, not because they deserve it, not because we owe them anything, but because it is who we are. Humanity helps people in trouble, even people who wronged us. That is what makes us human. He paused. But make no mistake, we are not doing this for the council leadership. We are doing this for the innocent people dying in the swarm attacks, for the children and families who never hurt us, for the species who had no say in our exile. All military personnel report to your stations. We deploy in 48 hours. We are going to war. Felt her heart race. She had trained for combat her entire adult life, but she had never fought a real battle. Now she would face the swarm, the enemy that had defeated every council fleet it encountered. Over the next 2 days, the Frontier Coalition prepared for war. Ships were loaded with supplies. Weapons were checked and double-checked. Soldiers said goodbye to their families. Spent her last night on New Terra at her parents' memorial. It was a simple stone with their names carved on it. Thousands of similar stones covered the memorial garden, all the people who had died in the early years of exile. I'm going to fight the people who caused your deaths, she told the stone. Not directly, but their fear, their prejudice, that is what sent us here. That is what killed you. She touched the stone. I'm going to show them what humans can do. I'm going to show them we are not savages. We are not warmongers. We are survivors. And we are better than they ever gave us credit for. The next day, the human Free Fleet jumped to Council space. 2,000 warships appeared at the edge of Council territory. It was the largest fleet ever assembled. The Council Defense Force had less than 500 ships. The human fleet outnumbered them 4-1. But the humans were not there to fight the Council. They were there to fight the swarm. On the Council, panic turned to confusion, turned to hope. Officers stood in the command center and watched the human fleet on the screens. They actually came, the council speaker said. He sounded shocked. I told you they would, replied. Deploy our fleet to support them, the speaker ordered. No, a new voice said. Admiral Minu appeared on the main screen. Keep your fleet in defensive positions. We will handle the swarm. You cannot fight them alone, the speaker protested. The swarm has thousands of ships. So do we, Minu replied. And unlike your fleet, we actually know how to fight. Stay out of our way, protect your civilians. Let us do what we do best. The swarm attacked 3 days later. They had detected the human fleet and were coming to destroy it. Intelligence reports said 10,000 swarm ships were heading toward Council Prime. Sat in her fighter on the carrier deck and waited for launch orders. Around her, hundreds of other pilots did the same. They were all young, all trained, all ready. "Listen up," their squadron leader said over the comm. He was older, maybe 30. He had the eyes of someone who had seen combat before. "The swarm fights like insects. They swarm, they overwhelm with numbers. They do not retreat. They do not negotiate. They just attack until everything is dead." He paused. "But we are not the council. We do not run. We do not break. We are human, and humans do not back down." Felt something stir in her chest. Pride, determination. "The swarm thinks we are weak," continued. "They think we will break like the council did. Let's show them what humans are made of." The carrier shook as the swarm fleet entered weapons range. Alarms blared. Orders were shouted. "All fighters launch," the command came through. Hit her thrusters. Her fighter shot out of the carrier bay into open space. Around her, hundreds of other fighters did the same. It was like a swarm of their own, a swarm of metal and fire and human determination. The swarm ships were ahead. They looked like giant insects made of black metal and organic material. They were ugly and wrong. Looking at them made skin crawl. "Weapons free," ordered. "Hit them hard, hit them fast. Do not let them surround you." The battle began. Fired her weapons. Her lasers cut through a swarm fighter. It exploded in a burst of green flame. She rolled her fighter, dodging return fire. Swarm fighters were fast, but human fighters were faster. Around her the battle raged. Fighters twisted and turned. Capital ships exchanged fire. Explosions lit up the darkness of space. The swarm fought exactly like said. They swarmed. They came from every direction. For every ship destroyed, 2 more appeared. But the humans did not break. Watched a human cruiser take damage. Its shields failed. Swarm boarding pods attached to its hull, but the cruiser did not retreat. It rammed into a swarm capital ship, destroying them both. She saw a squadron of fighters run out of ammunition. They did not retreat. They used their ships as weapons, ramming into swarm vessels. She saw a human carrier, burning and dying, launch all its remaining fighters before exploding. And slowly, impossible as it seemed, the humans started winning. The swarm had numbers, but humans had training, discipline, technology, and something else, something the swarm did not understand. Humans were mean when they fought. They did not just destroy enemies. They outsmarted them. They tricked them. They used tactics the swarm had never seen. Human ships would pretend to retreat, luring swarm forces into traps. Human fighters would coordinate attacks in ways that made their small numbers seem like many. Human commanders would sacrifice pieces to win the whole game. After 6 hours of battle, the swarm began to retreat. It was the first time in recorded history that the swarm had ever retreated from a fight. Returned to her carrier, exhausted and shaking. She had destroyed 7 swarm fighters. She had almost died 3 times, but she had survived. The council forces watched in amazement. The humans had fought 10,000 swarm ships with only 2,000 of their own. They had not just survived, they had won. But as studied the battle reports, she found something that made her blood run cold. The humans had won, yes, but they had also discovered something about the swarm. The swarm had a queen ship, a massive vessel that controlled all the others. Destroy it, and the entire swarm would collapse. But there was something else in the reports, something about where the swarm came from, about why they were so angry. Did some research. She went through old council files, files from 100 years ago. What she found made her sick. The council had done mining operations in deep space 100 years ago. They had destroyed several planets to get rare minerals. Those planets had been the swarm's breeding worlds. The council had started this war. The council had created this enemy. the same council that had blamed humans for being violent, presented her findings to the council leadership. They tried to suppress it. They tried to hide it. But it was too late. The humans had discovered the same information, and they were not happy. Admiral Minu stood on the bridge of his flagship and stared at the council speaker on his screen. The speaker looked smaller now, afraid. Good. You started this war, Minu said quietly. You destroyed their breeding worlds. You killed their children. And then you blamed us for being violent. That was a century ago, the speaker protested. Different leadership, different times, we cannot be held responsible for. Responsible, Minu interrupted. You want to talk about responsibility. You exiled us because we were too aggressive, too dangerous, but it was you. All along it was you. The speaker had no answer. The Swarm Queen is at Council Prime, Minu continued. Intelligence says she is bringing her entire fleet, every ship, every soldier. She wants to destroy your, and honestly, I am tempted to let her. Please, the speaker said, we need your help. You need our help, Minu repeated. Just like you needed our patrol ships, our engineers, our doctors, our peacekeepers. You needed us all along. You just did not want to admit it. He leaned forward. Here is what is going to happen. We will fight the swarm. We will destroy their queen. We will save your, but not for you, for the innocent people who live there. Thank you, the speaker said. I am not finished, Minu said coldly. After this is over, the council as you know it will end. You will join the Frontier Coalition as equals, not rulers, not superior beings, equals, or you will stand alone and face whatever comes next by yourselves. The speaker started to argue, but Minu cut the connection. He had said what needed to be said. Now it was time to finish this. The Swarm Queen's fleet was the largest force ever assembled, 20,000 ships, maybe more. They were heading straight for Council Prime. The human fleet had less than 2,000 ships left after the first battle. They were outnumbered 10-1. We cannot win this, Admiral said. He stood beside Minu on the bridge. The numbers do not work. Numbers never work for humans, Minu replied. We always fight outnumbered. We always face impossible odds, and we always find a way. He turned to his officers. Get me Captain. Appeared on the screen. She was old now in her 80s, but her eyes were still sharp, still fierce. Admiral, she said, good to see you again. Captain, Minu replied, I need a favor, a big one. Smiled, let me guess, something stupid and dangerous. The most stupid and dangerous thing we have ever done, Minu confirmed. He explained his plan, listened. When he finished, she laughed. You are insane, she said, but it might work. When do we start? In 3 hours, Minu said, and thank you for everything. Save it for when we survive, replied. Meanwhile, on her carrier, attended a briefing with the rest of her squadron. Stood at the front, looking grim. The Queen ship is here, he said. It is the size of a small moon, protected by thousands of ships. Our orders are to destroy it. The room was silent. How? Someone asked. We are going to get close, said. Very close, inside their defensive perimeter, and then we are going to ram the Queen's ship with everything we have. That is a suicide mission, said. Yes, confirmed. It is. Anyone who does not want to volunteer, leave now. No shame, no judgment. No one moved. Every pilot stayed in their seat. Felt tears in her eyes. These were her friends, her family. They were all going to die together. Good, said. His voice was rough with emotion. Then let us show the galaxy what humans can do. The final battle began at dawn on Council Prime. The swarm fleet appeared in orbit like a dark cloud blotting out the sun. The Queen's ship was at the center, massive, terrible, unstoppable. The human fleet moved to intercept. They formed a defensive line between the swarm and the planet. All ships, Minu broadcast. Today we fight not for the Council, not for their governments or their leaders. We fight for every innocent person on that planet, every child, every family, every life that does not deserve to end in fire." He paused. 50 years ago they cast us out. They wanted us gone. They thought we were too violent, too dangerous. Today we show them they were right. We are dangerous, but only to those who threaten the innocent. All ships attack. The human fleet charged. It was madness, suicide. They were outnumbered 10-1 against an enemy that did not feel fear. But humans did not need good odds. They just needed a cause worth dying for. Launched from her carrier for the last time, her squadron formed up around her, led them straight at the Queen's ship. "Stay tight," he ordered. "Do not break formation. We go through or we do not go at all." Swarm fighters swarmed around them, fired until her weapons overheated. Ships exploded on all sides. Friends died. The space around her was fire and death. But they kept going, closer, closer. A swarm fighter hit ship. It exploded. He was gone, just gone, screamed but kept flying. Half her squadron was dead, then 3/4, then only she remained. "Almost there," said. His voice was calm, accepting. "It has been an honor flying with you." "The honor was mine," replied. They reached the Queen ship's hull. Its surface was organic and metallic, alive and dead at the same time, disgusting. Crashed his fighter into the hull at full speed. The explosion barely damaged it. Armed her ship's reactor for overload. She pointed her fighter at the Queen's ship. She thought of her parents. She thought of New Terra. She thought of every human who had ever been cast out, exiled, or told they were not good enough. "This is for us," she whispered, "for all of us." She crashed into the Queen's ship. Her reactor exploded. The explosion ripped through the Queen's armor. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Queen's ship's shields failed. "Now," Minyu ordered. Captain had been waiting for this moment. Her ship, the old diplomatic vessel from 50 years ago, had been retrofitted with the most powerful weapon humanity had ever built. A kinetic bombardment system that could punch through a planet. She fired. The weapon struck the Queen's ship at relativistic speed. The impact was like a small sun being born. The Queen's ship broke apart, destroyed, dead. And with it the entire swarm fleet went silent. The drones stopped moving. The ships drifted. Without their queen, they were just empty shells. The battle was over. Humanity had won. But the cost was terrible. The human fleet had lost 60% of its ships. Thousands of pilots and crew were dead, including. On the surface of Council Prime, billions of people looked up at the sky and saw human ships burning. They saw the wreckage of the battle. They saw what humans had sacrificed to save them. And they understood. 1 week later, the council held an emergency session. Was there, the old ambassador. They had brought him out of retirement for this moment. The council speaker stood. "On behalf of the Galactic Council, I offer humanity our gratitude. You saved us when you had every right to let us die. You proved that you are not the savages we thought you were." "We proved we are exactly what you thought we were," replied. "Dangerous, aggressive, violent. You were not wrong about that. You were just wrong about what it meant." He looked around the chamber. Being dangerous is not evil. Being aggressive is not wrong. Violence is not always bad. It depends on why you fight and who you fight for. We are dangerous to tyrants. We are aggressive when protecting the innocent. We are violent toward those who threaten peace. You cast us out because you feared our nature. You should have embraced it, because that nature is what just saved you. The council was silent. "Now we offer you a choice," continued. "The old order is over. The council as you knew it is finished. We are building something new, the Frontier Coalition, a union based on merit, not fear, on cooperation, not exclusion. Join us as equals or stand aside. But know this, we will never be cast out again. We will never be exiled. We will never be made to feel less than what we are." The vote took 3 days. In the end, 32 of the 47 council species chose to join the Frontier Coalition. The others chose to maintain independence but signed treaties of cooperation. The old Galactic Council dissolved. The new Frontier Coalition took its place. Admiral Menu stood on the viewing deck of Station Unity and watched as ships from 100 species docked at the new stations humanity had built. The galaxy looked different now. Better. Beside him stood Officer. She had resigned from Council Intelligence and joined the Coalition as a liaison officer. "Do you think it will last?" she asked. "This new peace?" "Nothing lasts forever," Menu replied. "But it will last longer than the old one, because it is built on respect, not fear, on truth, not lies." "What about the humans who died?" asked. "Do you think they would approve?" Menu thought of all the pilots and crews who had sacrificed everything. "I think they died proving something important," he said. "That being cast out was not the end of our story. It was the beginning. They cast us out and we became something better, something stronger, something the galaxy needed." He turned from the window. "Come on, we have work to do. A new galaxy does not build itself." As they walked away, Menu thought about that day 50 years ago when humanity was exiled. He thought about all the pain and struggle that followed, all the death and sacrifice. And he realized something important. They had cast humans out, and humanity had faced the consequences by becoming exactly what the galaxy needed. Not warmongers, not savages, but protectors, builders, leaders. The galaxy had tried to get rid of them. Instead, it made them stronger. And that was the greatest consequence of all.